Okay, Anthony Kiedis,
Howdy.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes.
I want to start with this. I want to start this by letting you know that your band has been the soundtrack to my life. I mean, almost since as long as I can remember. And I mean, you've been a band for probably almost as long as I've been alive. And so I think a lot of our listeners and a lot of your fans have the same ideas in that you've held court with us on an emotional level countless times. And I wonder if that ever registers with you, like how far the impact that you have goes.
Well, gosh, that's a tough one to register. I try not to think about it too much because then I think it would take away from me doing the job that I have to do, which is not think about so much how people are affected by what we do, but just doing it in the moment that we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing to have an audience and have people who care and have people who pay attention and people that are moved and listen. And I definitely feel that on some plane, on some level, and it brings me joy, and it's kind of fulfilling. But I also want to just move forward and keep creating something that's strong and real and powerful and beautiful and meaningful. So you can't can't stop and admire your creation too long. You have to kind of move on to the next thing.
Do what you're doing,
Yeah.
and the end result just happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. This kind of falls in line with that. Every time I've ever seen you in an interview, for the last 25 years, you seem to radiate this love and this positivity and this fulfillment and this kind of gratitude. And both personally and professionally, you've been through some pretty dark stuff, the way other end of that spectrum, right? So I'm wondering, how do you manage to hang on to that perspective?
I don't hang on to it. It comes and goes. And honestly, I would be nothing without the difficult experiences. Just recently it hit me again that it really is the hard times are what give us the good times and something to write about and something to grow through. And it's not just a cliche. It's when I look at the history of mankind or the history of an individual, it's always those difficult and dark experiences that really force you to become next level great, as a person, whether, it's fighting a sickness or, just getting a bad draw of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting through it is a beautiful thing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And to come out on the other end with that appreciation and that constant kind of glowing, like I said, you radiate this. It just seems to be a part of who you are from our end. And that is a beautiful thing. And was there something in the past or something along the way that kind of made you kind of shift that paradigm and make you start thinking in those terms of love and gratitude and everything?
I think in all kinds of terms. Sometimes I'm just a little whiny bitch from time to time. And then, I have my better moments where I have those realizations. But like I said, they come and they go. It's not a constant current of positivity. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We're born in a beautiful place. Like, we start off by receiving this great ride on such an incredible planet, and I just naturally love life, and I know what makes me feel like shit, and I know what makes me vibrate and feel happy and alive, and I get worn out feeling crappy. So
of course,
yeah.
I feel like people growing and hitting that next level is just a constant shift of paradigms, right? You see what makes you feel like shit, and you say, okay, I don't want to feel like shit anymore, so I'm not going to do that anymore, kind of thing, right? And so as I get older and I grow and hit these next levels, my paradigms keep shifting, and I imagine that as a band, as a young band, your paradigm was looking at it from one way, and now that you are the Red Hot Chili Peppers of 2017, your paradigm must have shifted to look at it another way. And what I'm getting at is that there was always the first gig, the first album, the first limo ride, the first the first headlining festival, and then after a while, those firsts kind of start running out, and then this is just your life. And was there ever a time when you kind of your paradigm shifted and things started just becoming your normal life?
My first limo ride was actually with Greg Almond and Cher, of Sonny and Cher at the time. Circumstances prevailed, but well, first, it's still all first. It's a new day every day, and it's the first, it's the first. Let's say we were writing music. It's the first time that we've ever written music in this environment. I don't know. I will say that it does get more difficult to find inspiration, but I don't think that's because we've done everything. I think that's just because we've done everything to a point where life gets a little too comfortable, and we've ironed out so many of the kinks that you become a little lackadaisical, a little complacent, a little comfortable, and then it becomes truly difficult to manifest radical art. So it's been, it's an age-old problem. If you look at so many of the greatest creators over the last couple of 100 years, oftentimes when they get a degree of success, the music becomes so much less interesting. So I think that's kind of our fight now, is to, not feel tired and stupid and like we've done it all, and to kind of go back and start over with a childlike perspective, perhaps, and rock harder than ever before.
Yeah. Try and find the fresh again.
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right. Yeah. This aspect or this job that you have. I mean, because it's not just being a rock star and living this awesome life. This is a job. You guys work. You work hard.
Working.
And there are many aspects of this job that you have. Part of that is getting together with the guys in a room and coming up with some awesome songs. Another part is manifesting those songs and putting them down on tape. Another part is, playing shows and touring around. Another part is doing interviews like this. And not everybody loves every part of that job. And I wonder, which part of that job really gets you going the most?
Gets me going the most?
Yeah, totally.
Writing a new song.
Writing a new song?
Yeah.
Like the collaboration involved?
Whatever way it comes about, and it is with us a collaboration, but yeah, all of those weird little cosmic elements that fall into place in a moment where you woke up and you didn't have a song, and at night you go to bed and you have a song, and you wake up the next day and you're like, oh, I've got that song now, which you didn't have 2 days ago. So that's where like the real kind of magic takes place, and that moment between you and God, or you and the universe, or you and some grander being takes place. Like, I did my job today. I created something. I wrote a song, and the rest of it's a little bit more of a grind, I suppose. Especially tour and stuff like that, because it's mostly just traveling and checking in and out of hotels, and getting in cars, and forgetting your toothbrush and all that stuff. That's the work part.
Right. That's not why you're doing this.
It isn't, but it's it's necessary. It's what provides.
Of course. Yeah. It's the job.
But yeah, the cream of the experience is the creation part.
Right. Yeah. And I'm interested, because I've always been a big fan of being in the studio. I'm interested to know what your thoughts on the studio are. I mean, is it a challenge for you, or is it a magic place?
It's both. It's, sometimes the pressure cooker's really on, and sometimes you're laughing your ass off and just letting it flow. Yeah. So it can be both. It's changed so much from when we started. Studio environments are much different now. When we began, it's just where you went and you hung out for a couple months and you did your thing. And nowadays, studios are a little more technical, and they're kind of disappearing, like the grand old soulful, worn-in leather jacket of the studio world is going away. So it seems a little more mechanical these days in the studio in terms of the experience. But I guess it's up to us to find our way through the changing times.
After all of this time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears in the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and you know, this is your life. This is you know, a huge percentage of who Anthony Kiedis is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. When you look at it, what do you think has been the biggest challenge for you, and whether personally or professionally? You know, what's the one thing that you've really had to climb that mountain and conquer?
Yeah, I don't know what percentage of me is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know that it's always the same. It just kind of, you know, that's a matter of perception, I think.
Of course.
You know, I feel more like, I definitely feel like a band member, and you know, identity-wise and all of that stuff. But when there's no one to identify me except for myself, I feel like my son's father. You know, I just feel like I'm the dad.
Yeah.
When there's nobody but me to do the identifying. So I love my job, and I love my band, and you know, it's pretty rad that I found this to do. Challenge-wise, I mean, just it's the same for everyone. Like just finding yourself, you know, being true to yourself, and finding a way, you know, for that self to coexist with the rest of everything. You know, it's a challenge. It's like, you know, getting along with people is a challenge.
Right.
You know, dealing with your insecurities is a challenge. You know, staying healthy is a challenge. You know, keeping your mind in a good place is a challenge. You know, it's all a challenge, but we need that.
It's being a human, right?
Yeah.
the quest to be a better human at all times.
Yeah, but you know, band-wise, you know, if you just stay out of the way, it'll be okay. You know, it hasn't been that hard. We've been pretty lucky, chemistry-wise. Like Josh is a incredibly motivated and inventive person who also just happens to be easy to get along with.
Yeah.
You know, those two don't always come in the same package. You know, Flea is also wildly motivated as a creator, and a little more difficult to get along with, but also, you know, my brother. Like, there's really no getting rid of your brother, so we stay together and we work it out. And you know, Chad is he's kind of the ballast in a way. So, you know, we lucked out with team chemistry, and we're just going to go with it for now.
Well, it's done you incredibly this whole time. I'm a big fan of the band. Been
Thank
a big
you.
fan since I was a kid, and I don't think there's any need to hammer this. You've given me exactly what I wanted from you. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Power 97, pleasure.
Thanks so much, Anthony.
Yeah, break a leg.